Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello.
This is a addition to our our Persian army, and I had a few spare figures and I was just going to turn them into Medes, but I thought I'd have a little bit of fun and make some overseers. The Persian army, certainly at the time of the Greek or Persian War, had quite a few discipline problems. After the initial battle with the Greeks, the Persian soldiers, the Medes and the other infantry, refused to attack. They were more terrified of the Greeks. Xerxes threatened them with death, and they would rather die than go against the Persians. They would go against the Greeks. And so he employed men with whips to whip his soldiers into battle, to force them to fight the Greeks. So maybe it's another reason the Greeks won, because the troops fighting them really didn't want to fight them and were probably fighting out of fear by the second and third day of the battle.
That's what Xerxes did wrong. Didn't have propaganda.
Yeah, probably.
I would have made propaganda.
Yeah.
The horrible murderers who were trying to destroy the empire.
Yes, evil barbarians.
Yeah.
Although they did regard the Greeks as barbarians, which is funny because the Greeks regarded the Persians as barbarians.
Well, of course the enemy's going to say that you're a barbarian.
Yeah, bunch of barbarians. So I put these figures together just to make it a little bit more, just have a little bit more colour on the battlefield, and I figure these could be used in the way that commissars are used in bolt action or something.
I mean, they're used in 300, aren't they? You see them.
You do see them in 300.
Yeah,
yes.
whipping his men.
Then again, I wouldn't take 300 as a historical account of the battle. The original film, that is one of the closest you could actually get to all the historical records. And even in that film, they do mention this bit might not be true. One of the characters actually says, "I'm not really sure if this is true," which is interesting.
Like when he made a wall out of dead Mede soldiers.
Using the mortars, but bodies from mortar. Yeah.
You have no idea. It just doesn't seem logical. No one would think that.
Well, we'll make a wall out of your dead, which they did. That they killed so many Persians that the Persians had to climb over the wall of their own dead to attack. So maybe that's what it's referring to.
They didn't build a wall, did they?
No, they had a wall. There was a fortress wall there, but it was a bit like Lord of the Rings with these ancient castles everywhere. You might use a ruined castle as a defensive point. That's pretty much what the Greeks were doing. A lot of the defences the Greeks used were old defences left over from way back in history, and the Greeks regarded this stuff as ancient. So there was a wall covering the Hot Gates. Well, it was further out from the Hot Gates. But it was a ruin. It was a complete ruin. And the Spartans did have a go at repairing some of the damage to the wall. But as far as we could tell, the wall was no use anyway, because initially the Spartans fought in front of the wall. And then the wall was... the Spartans couldn't really use the wall as a defensive point because they're Spartans. They fight in the open.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really used for cover, more than anything. The rest of the Greek troops really just used it for cover from the Persian arrows.
There were a lot of arrows.
Yeah, you can do the math and work out there was probably about 30,000 arrows in the air at any one time.
Awesome.
Yeah, that is huge. If you think about how many arrows you could fire and how many bowmen they had, how many bows they had, they could actually put 30,000 bow arrows into the air before the last arrow hits. The first arrow leaves, 30,000. That's it. That you really could block out the sun with arrows. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to actually hurt anybody. But
I don't know about that.
If you're lucky, some men might get wounded. But arrows back then weren't like they were in films. They were pretty rubbish.
Okay, what about you had you Spartans with 30,000 archers against the Persians with their wicked shields and that? It would murder like most of their army.
Yeah, they would. Although the body shield would be pretty good against arrows for the Persians.
Not
But the
continuous amounts.
most of the Persian infantry didn't have shields. They preferred to go au naturel, just wear some pajamas.
They go straight through you.
Yeah, they would have been absolutely. Yeah, but luckily the Greeks didn't go in for bows.
And they didn't even have that many men.
Yeah, then there's not that many men anyway to fire the bows. Good point.
One Greek to every 15 Persians, basically.
Yeah. So, yeah, but even then, the only way they made their arrows count is when they managed to surround the Spartans and get behind them, and then the Spartans couldn't form a shield wall because they were firing arrows from the rear.
Yeah, instead they hid in a little box. Shield.
There's a name for it. Is it
Tortoise.
Yeah, it's a form. That's logically what you would do, but again, you can't. You're not Roman. The Romans could form a testudo when they were under heavy fire, from like when they're in sieges and things like that, and nothing got through a testudo. It was a solid wall everywhere you looked of shields, and you just couldn't do anything to it. You just fire at it all day, it won't do anything. And whereas you can't do that with a round shield. Now you can make fish scale with a round shield, which there are depictions of the Greeks using fish scale, which is where you interlock your shields and you put a spear between each interlock, and it creates the spear stops the shield slipping. So it is a physical wall you're actually holding. The Vikings, they used to carry massive shields. They would have their normal shields, but they would also have these 7-foot wide shields, these huge shields, and they would be carried along with the soldiers, and if they came under fire, they would bring these huge shields forward and sit behind them, a bit like an umbrella.
Fair enough.
Although we've got no archaeological evidence for it, but they are described, of the Vikings using these huge 7-foot wide shields. And you could get half a dozen guys behind each shield. And they would probably stand up against ballistas and things like that.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. We don't really know much about them.
We all know a ballista can go straight through anything.
Yeah, alright. I'll actually give you that. But it would stand up against rocks being thrown at you, put it that way. So if you're attacking a fortress and they're throwing bricks at you, that would probably work. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But anyway, these are Persian overseers. They're not that interesting. I just thought I'd put them together just for fun, really. Yeah. Any questions on them?
No.
None at all? It's boring, really, isn't it?
Well, they're only overseers. Unless they are the elite, because it would make sense sending your elite soldiers to do it, because they're more loyal. So they would do it.
You would probably have captains or something to do it.
Immortals?
Well, it could be captains from other regiments that weren't fighting. So, or your sergeants maybe. You give a sergeant a whip and say, go and get those guys moving, and then the sergeant would push the other troops forward. But I doubt they'd be from their own regiment. That'd be a bit... You have to live with these guys, remember?
Yeah.
And if a guy's whipping you, you're not going to take him seriously. I wonder what their survival time was.
Well, Spitfire was about, what, how long? 30 minutes airtime, 6 minutes airtime or something?
Yeah. I just wonder what the survival time... Like commissars, very unlikely to survive the war. If the enemy didn't kill you, your own men did. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's just
So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think of the overseers. That's everything from me.
And everything from him. Goodbye.
See ya.